the interesting thing about Palmer, he had a very, very narrow business plan and strategy. Again, it was all data driven, um, and an obsession for discipline on our standard operating procedures. And then we never pitched another broker's deal. We never pitched off-market deals. And we only listed our own, we only pitched our own active listings, and we never cooperated with brokers, with other brokers. And here's why. We're dealing with high net worth individuals. We have the direct relationship with the buyer and the seller, and it's our job to bring the parties together. Ultimately, they make the decision, they run their own numbers and so forth. We just provide the data for them to do so. And so we really eliminated a lot of the elements that were out of our control. Again, not cooperating with other brokers as much as we wanted to, and we did. The reality is that they had no idea what the needs and wants were of our clients. And so we just made the decision early on to just work directly with the principals. And so yeah, we were just basically, we picked up listings, we started engaging with clients early on. And then as it got towards the end of their investment cycle, again, 7 to 10 years, we also tracked the debt on their assets. And so we engaged them anywhere between 2 to as much as 5 years in advance of the sale. And so we were constantly keeping a pulse on the asset and their investment strategy. And most of the time we won the business. Every now and then we didn't, but most of the time we won the business. So it's a very successful plan, but also very narrowly focused. I mean, it's basically just nothing more than a circle of assets. And so we have one client that's selling a property, and then they're selling to another group, and then this client's going to need another asset. So yeah, we're basically recycling the same clients. Again, it's a very, very small group. Now we can't fulfill the acquisition requirements for every client. So every now and then we would be able to help a client who just sold an asset buy another asset. But oftentimes either A, cashed out because it was part of their investment strategy, or B, they already had another asset that was lined up, possibly closer to home, or had some other criteria behind them that we weren't aware of, or that they just weren't sharing. So when people came to us, it was generally speaking, it was they had a property that they needed to sell. It needed to be arm's length as far as they were, as far as their investment thesis and strategy within their organization. And so the objective was very simple: to sell this asset, retain the capital from or the equity from this asset, and do it within a definitive timeline. So back to the statement earlier, as far as institutional groups, if they're going to list a property with you, they had to be certain that within 3 to 6 months the property was sold. Obviously, we can't take into account the market conditions or massive changes. We can only do our best, but we had to be dead on both pricing, the qualification of the buyers, and our ability to take the deal through escrow. We never had an issue with underwriting that we couldn't solve, and we never had an issue with the due diligence or any of the materials within the due diligence to where we had any major surprises. So we just did a very thorough, really very thorough research and development of the materials, so that when we submitted to clients, they knew that they can trust our materials and make very intelligent decisions without going through the boxes upon boxes of due diligence.